When I actually read your message that you were breaking up with me, it didn't hit me like, oh no, I'm being like I had told you once before, and it's true that if you're the one breaking up, it's easier than if you're the one who's getting broken up with, and that's totally true. But that doesn't really apply to us. I mean, you might think it does, but it doesn't because I'm never going to break up with you. So it's just always going to be you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to do that to you unless you cheat on me. Um, and even then, it would be hard. I mean, it would be really hard both ways. Um, Kind of like what you're facing right now, actually. I think of cheating as a bigger deal, but you said you think of verbal abuse, like you think of what I did with the eviction thing as a bigger deal than if I would have cheated on you, which is crazy to me. Crazy in the sense of like that's how important it is to you because like I grew up in a neighborhood where people fought like that all the time, and then I'm not saying every day or anything, but then they would guys maybe in general guys, and then they'd come back and sort it out, like people fight kind of thing. It's um but it's the if that's the way you feel about it, especially when I'm like threatening your home after I've already been threatening over and over again, just like Armageddon, that I was not going to be with you. You know, um, it's it's just very much a trauma to do that to you. And granted, it came from a place of just feeling totally unloved and unsupported. Like I blew my other rotator cuff because you couldn't help me go to the second place. You never even offered. I was watching. You saw the hard work I was doing, and you were like laying in the grass on your phone. It just really felt like for a while now you totally checked out on the relationship, and I wouldn't, I've been the one who's threatening and all that stuff too. So like we've been playing like a power struggle, like who cares less, and never play fucking who cares less with a goddamn Brooks, as your father taught us, because he can do that shit with his daughter. Um, but that's also not what the fuck is that? How did I fall into doing that? I'm usually a pretty smart guy on that kind of shit, but I think it came from me being triggered because I was feeling so emasculated and I was feeling like I was getting bullied. And so all these old patterns came up. It's like, yeah, nice try. Like here, I don't care, whatever, go for it. I'll find somebody else who takes better care of me, like, and we're both waiting for the other person to fill their cup because even though I used to fill your cup like crazy, um, I wouldn't get it back. And then you did it this one time and then you couldn't do it again because it was hard to keep up, you said, which I get. It is hard to keep up. Like, if you understand that, you understand why after 6 years, I'm like, oh my God, help me out here. Um, because it's so one way. It's like, come on, I want it back. I want it back. That's where it's good to think of you as the pet, as the puppy, because then getting it back means getting the chunks. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing. It can be in a different form. And it, like I keep saying, it is obviously enough because it's all my, other than some of the negative things, because I'm trying on purpose to keep it balanced, which is a very good thing to do, like 500 days of summer. Um, you also, you know, want to keep in mind the good and the bad, which is pretty much the same. Um, I forgot what the fuck I was saying. Let me think. But yeah, that image of you chonking it up and wanting to do the little run up and dive into me, it's like oh my God, why couldn't I just fully feel that in the moment? Why am I feeling it now, thinking about it instead of in the moment? How just fantastic and great that is to have somebody that does that to you, and how could I ever have doubted that you didn't really love me? That's something in real life, even because usually in text it's where I think you're shy and maybe I'm shy too, but we have a hard time fully expressing that stuff as in real life as opposed to in text. But those are times when you are doing that, and it does make me feel good, but it it doesn't stop didn't stop me from being bitter about you not stepping up. Step up, step up, step up, come through, please. Because I'm struggling so hard here. um, and then it just kind of seemed like you never cared that you didn't. And I think maybe that was the case. I think maybe because I hadn't been affectionate in so long, and I had made mom a priority, and I had put you second for so long, that either you didn't think I cared or you knew I still cared, but were like, fuck it, if he's not going to treat me right, I'm out of here. The Either one of those I can understand, but at the same time, we had both given each other our word that we weren't going anywhere. And the best thing you had told me in a long time was like, you couldn't get rid of me if you tried. Like, you can't push me away. And that's what I was trying to do, is push you away. And I did, and granted, I did it by going over one of your red lines. But there's nothing about me this was not Armageddon Part 2. You know this. Like, there was nothing about me that was being physical with you or anything like that. I was saying I was going to get you evicted, and the evictions take 30 days or whatever. It's not like the police were showing up at the door that day. They take 30 days. You have to file with the clerk and stuff like that. So, I'm not making light of that, because that was a totally shitty thing to do. And it was like a not just a power struggle thing, but also like I will not be fucking bullied. This is my house kind of thing. You know what I mean? Life does come first in this house. You can do whatever you want around the rest, but if you try to do something to life here, like leave plants in the house for 3 days, you're asking to get up and put it outside. It was that kind of thing. And you know to my benefit, that's right, that's true. Like, you're like, I know you're tired and you're worn out. Like, I think maybe if I would have understood how worn out were, it would have helped me. But I think you were just exhausted. I don't think of you that way. I think of you as the weightlifting person. I think of you as the one leading the exercise class. So, but I think if I thought you were just like, I'm sick of this. I've been helping him move. I'm done. But if I would have known how exhausted you were, then hopefully it would have registered better. Um, but I was like, no, get your ass up and put this life outside. This is life. This is what we do here. You agreed to this rule of the house. It applies to me. It applies to you. It applies to everybody. What's the point of owning property if I can't protect animals and life on it, and you've been leaving these plants in for 3 days, even though you gave me your word you'd put them out 4 days ago when you were supposed to do it. That's all real talk. That's all exactly what was going through my head at that time. But, to amp it up to where we're both just so tired of each other because we've both been toxic. And that's important, again, to understand. You were very toxic. You were very toxic. You were doing things like laughing at me and, like not, I mean, laughing at me is fine, but like not in a playful way, and like just kind of a cruel way. And, you do the side eye and the tutting, and I don't think or maybe you do this time, because maybe you just checked out. Maybe you were done with us. I hope that's not the case, because what would that mean for you saying you can't push me away if that's what it took when you were in a way, but I don't know. It's hard. I always try to read minds, and I get the feeling I get it wrong a lot. So I'm trying not to do that as much anymore, which is one of my tweaks. But as far as the list of other things to do, things that would make you happy, I mean, because that's what I'm doing. I'm just hard selling your ass at this point, because I want us back. One of the things was having the business 75-25 because you're doing all the work, and it doesn't seem, you'd said this before, but it never really kind of, I mean, like, the reason this occurred to me is because, let's say we do split up and you go your own way, you have like nothing. You've been helping me with the vet bills because you love the babies, and you've been helping me with the house stuff, but you don't have much money in savings, and granted, like, it partly comes from the fact that you wouldn't follow daddy's lead on the business last year and just wanted to do things your own way, which pretty much meant do nothing. That's not ideal. So that's the part that, I always thought of first. But at the same time, right now, if you were to go away, you don't even own one of these cars. You don't even own half of one of these cars. You don't have a bunch of money in savings, and you had done all that for the business. That just doesn't sound right, And don't get me wrong, I don't have any of that money left either. But it's what helped me to, make ends meet at the time and pay bills. And granted, I put my own money up for it, but you do a lot more of the physical work, which I know this is almost verbatim what you were trying to tell me that one time. But in my head, it was just, I had already felt underappreciated, because you don't respect the money side of it. You're like, you had already said once before that you just didn't really respect what I did for the business. And I was like, I don't think you get, the business is like a $1,400 business, until I started doing the math to ramp it up by price point. We were getting things free and for 99 cents, So I think that was the backdrop to that conversation. So like, I was already biased against hearing you, but you're right. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be leaving this relationship right now with nothing. You should have something, you should have, I mean, assuming you saved, which is a big assumption, but there should be something there for you. And granted, there was something there because you paid your own fucking way. You know, you paid your bills. You didn't have to pay rent, but hey, you know, you paid your half of the bills. You paid half of vet bills. Vet bills are fucking ridiculous, and you paid that shit. But it just doesn't seem right that you shouldn't have more of the money. So I'd like to do 75-25 you, even though it's still my money going up. Still with the same thing, me helping with inventory and all that. Hello, dear. That was another way I thought that we could be, you could be happier. And um, I had a couple of more too that I'm gonna forget them. And if I go over, oh, hello, Squeak. Whoa, butthole cat. Um, so, but I had a. There were a few more that I thought of too, as far as, you know, I know I've said the thing about you being pup. I have a list. It's like 8 long. I'm just brain dead. But yeah, I have a list of things here. Let me pause it. I'll be back.